Hey guys, the franchise goes here, and welcome to NHL 20. We are going to start up our franchise mode for NHL 20, the next franchise that I will be doing. And I believe we have one more actually still to start, and that's NBA. But we're going to get right into franchise mode here. On NHL 20, it's a little bit different, as all of them are. So as we go through, I'll kind of explain it to you. Um, and we'll go over all of the things that are specific about this one. So for NHL, you have a couple options to start with expansion drafts. We're not going to. We're just going to start straight up with Classic. We're going to put in our name. It didn't let me do franchise go, so I just put franchise G. And then I know this is the exception to the rule. Generally, I don't like to pick my favorite teams, but for NHL 20, we're going to start with the Boston Bruins, my favorite team, the team I know the most about. Gives you the option to realign conferences. I'm going to choose not to. We're going to go right into this with the normal conferences. Look through the settings here. We're going to keep most stuff normal. We're going to keep owner mode on because I find that interesting. We're actually going to turn GM firing off because I want to stay with the same team. So for now, we're also going to turn fog of war off. That um, just doesn't let you see other teams' players overall. But we are going to turn that off. And we're also going to turn off head coach edit lines because I will take care of all the line changes with the team. I think that's probably the best option. So we're going to have the settings that way. Now we're going to go through a couple of the rules here before we actually begin. First of all, you guys can see all of the stuff you'll see on the screen is set to default. So that's just accessibility. The quick settings, we have it on the highest simulation mode. Rules are basically going to be regular NHL rules. In terms of injuries, I know for certain franchises I like to leave them on. For others, I like to turn it off. For NHL, I'm going to turn it off because they happen at a ridiculously high rate in this. Period length 10 minutes, that's what we're going to leave it at. I believe we're going to set it on Pro. That's the medium difficulty. I'm not all that great at NHL 20 yet. Have really played it much. So we will have to go through, play it a little bit, and then we can adjust the difficulty if we believe that. For scouting, I'm actually going to turn it to auto scouting only for the professional teams. That way I don't have to deal with the pro scouts, and it's not a big deal with fog of war off. Amateur scouting, I'm going to do myself. That's the prospects. For the draft, we're going to handle that ourselves, and you'll see me do that a little bit later in this video. For advanced settings, we're going to keep head coach edit lines off. Everything else, we'll keep most of the same. There's a couple changes. Auto rotate goalies, I'm going to leave on for now. I found out that it's a pretty good setting. It helps to keep the goalie stats realistic. Everything else we're pretty much going to keep normal sim engine scoring. We're going to stay on medium. If we feel like that's a problem, then we can do something about that. But for now, I think medium, at least in old games, has been the best to go by. Sliders and everything we will go through later if it's needed. But I think we're going to leave it on just normal sliders for now to begin. And we are going to start our career. We're going to keep the salary cap on, and we'll come back to you. All right, so here's a little pop-up due to franchise. If you want to read any of this stuff, you can pause. I already know about it. I have done a franchise mode on here just to prepare. The fog of war stuff, this stuff with assign a scout, that's all off. So let's go through everything that's on our screen real quick. As you see, here's the main hub. It's where you have all of the real important stuff. You can do a lot of stuff from here. Team management. We can go through, see all of this fun stuff that you can see here. Then there's manage rosters, basically lines, rosters, all that stuff. And then the contracts, where we can view our contracts, we can hire staff, all of that. Now here's the owner stuff. You can see we have goals. We're not going to relocate. I'm being a Massachusetts guy. The Boston Bruins are not relocating anytime soon. They have a huge following in Boston, games are sold out constantly, so that would be very unrealistic. Um, we'll do some maintenance. This is basically just going through and setting up stuff. As you can see, this one's at 57, so we have to start maintenance on that, which I will go back in and do in a second. The rest of the stuff you can see, just income, financial stuff. We will go in here, though, and we will provide maintenance for, the bathrooms. Yeah. We'll hit repair. That'll happen over a course of 6 days. And after that, they'll be all good. And then last is league. That doesn't really have much. It's just kind of like save. So we are going to go through and look at the lines. Obviously, I know the Bruins fairly well, as they're my favorite team, and I watch pretty much every game. I try to watch every game. And they are, so far, one of the best teams in the NHL. And one of the big reasons why is their first line. Now, while I go through the lines, I'm going to kind of click on each player. You can see each one has a role. Marchand, Bergeron, both first-line players. And you can see their potential down there, which is elite. If it says exact, then that means that player is done progressing. However, with David Pastrnak, as you saw, it said medium. So that means medium accuracy. Means the player is still progressing. Medium to become an elite player. That potential is going to show you basically what they can become. The best is franchise. So as you can see, 391s, the first line does not need to be touched. In real life, the first line does not need to be touched. This is one of the best scoring lines in hockey. Second line is pretty solid. As you'll see, we have 3 second line guys who are listed in the game as second line players. So that, of course, will mean that they'll simulate well as second liners. Charlie Coyle is a second line forward. He has exact potential. Same with David Krejci. Jake DeBrusk actually is still getting better. Joakim Nordstrom, he is listed as a fourth liner, but it has potential. Same with Danton Heinen. He's actually listed as a third liner, so he's good on the third line. Brent Ritchie listed as a fourth liner, but with top 9 medium potential. So basically, third line's okay, could use a little improvement. Fourth line's really good. Corrali, Backus, who's a great fourth liner, and Bjork, who I want to leave there because of his potential. So as you can see, he's listed as a depth right now, but he passes as the fourth line guy for now. We can always send him down if we decide to trade for someone slightly better for the third line. Maybe move Nordstrom down. Defensively, we are extremely solid also. Torrey Krug has elite potential. He is a top 4 defenseman. McAvoy has elite potential. He's also top 4, and he's still getting better. Chara, exact potential. He's a top 4. Carlo's a top 6, but has top 4 potential, so he'll eventually get there. As you see, medium still growing. And then John Moore, top 6, perfect. And Miller, also top 6, both with exact potential. And then goalie, maybe the strongest part of this team. Tuukka Rask is an elite goalie. And Yaroslav Halak, our backup, is listed as a starter. So we have 2 starting goalies. They'll rotate. In real life, that's one of the strengths of the Bruins. They have a backup who is just as good as a lot of team starters. So as you can see, we are pretty solid on our lines. I'm not going to go through the specialty lines. I'm going to see how they do in preseason. Make sure the captains are right. Yep, Krejci and Bergeron are alternates. That's correct. And Chara obviously should be the captain of this team. He is and will be until he retires. If he retires this next coming year, I'll probably give the captaincy to Bergeron. I think that would probably be what would happen in real life and give Marchand an assistant or an alternate. So here we're just going to take a look at the roster. As you can see, we're also going to look in the system and look through some of the potential of the guys who we have down here. We have a pretty good potential in our system of prospects, and I'm going to go through each one. So Petrovic is a good defenseman. Let's see who's on here. Vakanainen, I believe. He has top 4 potential, medium accuracy. He's a first-round pick, so he's a guy who we'll look at. Carey Forsback Carlson is good. I've seen him play in real life, so he has some potential. Lauzon, top 6 defense potential. This is probably our best prospect here right now. Studnicka, he is a second-round pick, actually. I thought he was first round, but I guess not. Top 6 forward potential, so probably a future second liner for us unless we trade him. Fitzgerald, pretty good. Trent Frederick, solid potential also, top 6 forward. Squirrel has top 4 defenseman potential. Let's see, we have Hughes. All of these guys, pretty solid potential. Axel Anderson has top 4 defensive potential, which is great. That means, again, as you can see, lots of guys down here who have the possibility of getting better. We'll go through. There's actually a couple more decent ones that I found down here. Yeah, Axel Anderson, solid defenseman prospect for us. He's a second-round pick from last year. I think I remember them drafting him, actually. Lauko, top 9 forward. Steen, also top 9 forward. Those guys, obviously, good potential. Berglund, 7th defenseman, so possibly a guy who could be a 6th line or a 3rd line or 6th defenseman at some point. Obviously, we have to see about that. We'll see how those guys grow. Obviously, they're going to play in the AHL. I think except for Anderson, was still a CHL guy. Quick look at our coaches here. As you can see, we have a really good head coach. That's not the head coach in real life. The coaches are not real in here. Obviously, Bruce Cassidy, who was a very good head coach, is the current head coach of the Bruins. But he is not in the game, as I don't believe any of the real coaches are. So, as you can see, though, coaching staff's pretty solid. Then we'll look quickly at our scouts. As you see on the bottom, we only have 17 out of 20. Don't worry, I will hire the rest of them before we go. Here's just what you can see with a scout. Overall, no assignment. I'm going to go through and assign all of the amateur scouts. As you can see, the pro scouts already have their assignments. And with the amateur scouts, the assigning is pretty straightforward. I'll get to it in a second. And as well as hiring 3 more, because I found that you always want to have all 20 of your scouts, because you never know who exactly you're going to find. You can find players in any league. I've gone through this before, and you find first-round guys who are not particularly thought of as first-round guys, and they're in obscure leagues. And you can find really good prospects through there, as you can in real life. Some really good prospects come out of different leagues. Just a quick look at the projections. Obviously way too early, but these are the draft projections as of right now. As you can see, lots of forwards. I have this on all leagues and all eligible players. Obviously, we don't know their potential or their overall, anything like that. That will come as we scout them. And we'll get to know more about them and decide who we want to target. Obviously, I expect for us to have a late first-round pick because I expect us to go pretty far in terms of the playoffs. Now back into our scouting. We are going to hire our 3 extra scouts, and it doesn't actually show them accepting the contracts in this video. However, I will tell you they did accept them. They actually accept them in the next video. But all 3 of the guys who I target accept their contract. They're all C overall amateur scouts from different leagues. First one we're going to hire is QMJHL, something we need. We're also going to hire an American because there's a bunch of different regions in the United States that you have to scout, just as there's 3 different Canadian leagues. And we're also going to hire a Scandinavian scout, all C overall. You won't see me assign them in this video because they're not on our scouting page yet. As you see, we still have 17 out of 20 on our scouting page. And yeah, so basically we're going to go back and we're going to just assign all of the scouts with where they're supposed to go. How you do this, you can scout specific players, but that's not usually how you want to start. For starters, you just want to go to find prospects for each scout. They will automatically go to their region. I'm going to choose any because I want to see everyone. And we're going to send each of them to their specific regions for 6 weeks. I'm not going to show me doing all of them because it takes forever. But I will come back once all of the scouts have been assigned to their specific assignments. Alright, so we have all of our scouts are assigned. And they're all going to go to their specific regions and find us our prospects. We're also going to take a quick look at the free agency pool. You never know who you can find in here. Vanek, third liner, don't really think I need him, but again, a guy who maybe I could think about. Pominville's here. Adam McQuaid, he's a former Bruin. He was actually very good with the Bruins. Helped us on a couple runs to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Actually, I think he was only there in the 2013 one. I think he wasn't there in the 2011 one, but I could be wrong about that. No, maybe he was there in 11. I don't remember. I was very young back then. Yeah, I think he was there in 11. So Adam McQuaid, been there for a few times. Maybe a guy we sign as a bottom defenseman, probably not. Let me just check the injury report real quick. I have injuries off, so yeah, there's no injuries. Make sure that, because sometimes it still puts injuries on there for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Progress reports, we will go through these every once in a while just to see how all of our players are progressing. Pretty self-explanatory there. And now we are going to simulate up to our first preseason game. It's against the Buffalo Sabres, I believe in Boston, yeah. And now a few things are going to pop up. Owner expectations, you guys can read that if you want. Salary cap, you guys can also read that if you'd like. You can pause there. But yeah, that's going to be it for episode 1 of our Bruins franchise. In the next episode, we are going to play this first preseason game against Buffalo. Might be a little rough. And then after that, we will simulate through the rest of the preseason and get going with the regular season. So yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I will see you guys in episode 2 where we will go through the preseason. Take care.